Us up at the same time.
Hi, I'm Mike.
Hi, I'm Charlotte.
Hi, I'm Eric. Shannon. I'm glad we don't have to stay on camera.
Hello, I'm Jessica Alvernian, and today I want to talk to you about baking the perfect box cake. My favorite cake to make is the double chocolate with strawberry icing in the center and cream cheese icing on the outside. It's always a crowd favorite. Next, you'll want to decide what shape you would like your cake. If you want a double layer round cake, you're just going to need one box of batter. If you're going to do a 13 by 9 sheet cake, you're going to need 2 boxes of batter, and you're going to make sure that you mix both boxes of batter separately so your cakes come out the same size. Make sure you follow the directions on the back of the box exactly. First, you're going to want to preheat your oven to 350, and while your oven is heating up, you're going to grease and dust 2 pans with flour. Remember, we're going to do 2 pans because we're making a 13 by 9 sheet cake. First, what you want to do is mix in a large bowl of batter, 1 1/4 cup water, 1 1/3 cup oil, and 3 large eggs. After you've added everything, mix on a low speed until moistened, then on medium speed for 2 minutes. And then it's ready to pour into the pan and ready to bake. Since you're baking the 13 by 9 sheet cake, it's going to be baking for 40 minutes. And so after 20 minutes, you're going to want to swap your cakes if you're cooking both of them at the same time. You're going to want to put the top one on the bottom and bottom on top so that you get an even cooking. A good way to check if your cake is done is the toothpick trick. Stick the toothpick into the center of the cake and pull it out. If it's clean, then your cake is done. That tip is from BettyCrocker.com. What you're going to want to do is let your cake cool for 20 minutes in the pan. And while your cake is cooling, you're going to want to put wax paper onto 2 cookie sheets. So after your 20 minutes, you could dump your cake over onto the wax paper, gently tap the bottom, and then your cake should pop out with ease. And you're going to continue to let it cool after that, after removing it from the pan. It's very important that your cake cools all the way for the icing part of it, so that if your cake is still hot and you start to put icing on it, the icing is just going to melt right off. That's a tip from tipnet.com. After it's cooled, your cake should be easy to handle. And you may have uneven tops. So what you're going to want to do is take a bread knife and evenly cut along the top of each cake. After you've done that, you're going to want to take your center icing, in my case it would be the strawberry, and you will put a layer of icing there. And then you can stack your cakes and trim the edges. Next, you're going to want to put a thin layer of frosting on the top. I would use the cream cheese icing for this cake. Put a thin layer of icing on top, and if the cake starts to crumble, that's okay. Just let it sit for 15 minutes and then add a second layer of icing. Another great tip for your frosting is to let your cake sit for an hour after frosting so that the icing has a chance to settle before you cut it. A tip from PillsburyBaking.com. In closing, I would like to mention that after making several birthday cakes for my kids, that these tips and tricks do work, and that I hope that this gives you the confidence to make your own cake. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I did not.